Oh my gosh, it's the Valak tag. It's real. Spirit Halloween 2025 Valak. $300. Dude, I can make paper airplanes with this.
Oh my goodness, this actually makes me so hyped. So all of those who aren't in the know, most of you, let me give you the laydown. Home Depot is really big on Halloween, like 12 foot to 15 feet tall big. For example, they changed the game with the 12-foot skeleton. Most people's yard decorations includes that thing. Ever since they released that, they've been going crazy with the animatronics and usually beating out companies like Spirit Halloween when it comes to that market. Because although things like Spirit Halloween are more mainstream and people think of them when they think of animatronics, when you look at anyone's yard, you'll mostly find Home Depot items. Now, every year they have an exclusive manager meeting to show off everything new that they're going to release in this upcoming season. And since everyone's got their phones in hand, photos of this event get shared around all over Facebook, leaving us with images like this. This is what Home Depot's 2025 Halloween lineup looks like, and there's quite a few things to point out. So let's go over it all. First of all, we have this fully blow molded 7-foot tall shark. I mean, look at it next to the fisherman. It looks crazy and such a weird thing to release for Halloween. I mean, sharks are scary, so it's got its market. But honestly, the paint job looks amazing. The only thing that I would note about this is it should have had the fully black eyes that normal sharks do and make them more like circular. But really, it's not too bad of a blemish. It really does look perfect for what it's trying to do. And this next one is one of my like top 3 favorites. It is the 12-foot scarecrow. Wait, no, not 12 feet. I'm underselling it. It's 15 feet tall. The only other 15-footer that they've released or that retail has ever had is the 15-foot phantom. I own that one, but I'm actually going to resell it now because I need to replace it with this scarecrow. It has a fully molded body, and it's weird because it looks like it's carved out of a tree rather than being a classic scarecrow on a stake, which I think is awesome, especially like its design playing into its size. Because the only way that you would make or at least a really cool way that you would make a ginormous scarecrow is by carving it out of a tree. That's why its arms are like these big branches. Also, when we heard about the name of the 15-foot scarecrow a while ago, before we even knew what it looked like, I had faith that Home Depot wouldn't do the thing where the hat is just really tall and making it go up to 15 feet, because that's something that some companies do to kind of bolster the size of everything. And I just want to point out I was totally right. The hat actually plateaus and goes flat like near the top. So Home Depot, you did not let me down. This thing is amazing. They have also been releasing these like smaller versions of their giant characters, kind of like trophies, or like when you buy a Tesla, you get like a tiny version of the car to keep in your house. It's sort of like that. And with this scarecrow, this is the first year where they've released a tiny version of it in the same year that they released the big version. And in this image, you could see a little tiny version of this 15-foot scarecrow. This one is like 3 to 4 feet tall. And on that note, they're also releasing a small version of the levitating Reaper that they released last year, and this cool Jack Skellington statue. It doesn't look like it's specifically of the 13-foot Jack they released a while ago. It's just a nice looking statue of the character itself, along with Zero. Here in this image, you can see the 15-foot scarecrow next to the 12-foot skeleton, so you kind of get a good idea of the size difference. Note that the 12-foot skeleton is on a much more raised platform, and the scarecrow is still taller. I absolutely love this thing. Imagine seeing it like kind of in the distance in a cornfield, you know, in one of those mazes, and you don't know how to get to it. It's just so ominous and cool. Anyways, enough with the glazing of the 15-foot scarecrow. That's one that I definitely want to buy. Here we have Chucky and Tiffany. They released Chucky last year, but it was the one from Child's Play, like the first one, and he wasn't torn up and didn't have the classic iconic scarred face, but this version does, and he looks very nice. The only thing that I hope that they do is fix the servos, the quality of the servos, because he would have this issue where by default he would go to squint, and judging by these images, it looks like both of these have this issue where they just like squint really tightly with their eyes. It really hinders the good look of the programming because it keeps on going back to squinting even when it's moving. But I can't judge it until I see them in motion, so this is all we have, and Tiffany looks great, pretty much perfect to the movies. I hope that it has that smiling function that Chucky had. You know, the more facial animation there is, the better, honestly, because Home Depot's like the only one that's doing it. There's no competition. And speaking of universally licensed things, here is the Bride of Frankenstein. I'm glad that it has a really classic look with the white streaks in the hair, and it's just pretty much perfect to go along with Frankenstein. We don't know what it does or how it moves. We know that Frankenstein has the blinking eyes and eyes that look around and like full motion head, so I'm hoping that Bride of Frankenstein also does that to kind of match the advancedness of its counterpart. And you'll find that Home Depot are doing some very strange things this year, things that haven't been done by other companies when it comes to at least the types of creatures, because they're releasing a St. Patrick's leprechaun animatronic. This is what it looks like right here. It's kind of funny looking, but honestly, I like it. You can't really judge it too much because it's the first of its kind. And I really appreciate the way that Halloween is like slipping its way into other holidays. Like with this Easter bunny right here, they're also releasing a life-sized Easter bunny, which is pretty terrifying, a lot scarier looking than the leprechaun, I think. And right next to it, you can see this Jack-in-a-Box style character where it'll wind up the music box, and instead of something popping out of the box, its head and neck will like shoot out and up. And this image is of it in the up position. I think that would be a perfect animation for this type of character, and I think it's super creative. For the past 2 years, they've been releasing these ultra posable skeletons, which have been a huge hit for like Facebook moms and just your average decorator, because it's really nice to have a skeleton that can be posed in many ways, even joints in the fingers and like a more articulated head and everything. The first year they released a regular skeleton, the second year they released a corpse, and this third year they're releasing this demon winged character, which I think looks really cool. Right next to him you can see this butcher guy, and it appears to be a reskin of the Soul Slasher, so we know exactly what it does. All it will do is point at you with its pointer hand and turn its head while it talks. Something I don't like about it is its face is very cartoony. It looks to be this half human, half pig person thing, which is a very bizarre concept. And I liked Spirit Halloween's version better, where, at least in concept, where it's wearing the head of a pig like a mask. Very gory, very gruesome. But this one is going for a different direction, and I appreciate the detail on it either way. On the table next to the butcher in this image, you can see a small statue version of Dean the Deathologist. This is the first mini version of a prop that hasn't started as this huge 12-footer. I like how they're being treated as like little collector's pieces, like a trophy for owning the real thing. It's kind of funny and really playing into their audience. Now we're on to this image. This is the newest Gravedigger. They've redone the Gravedigger like 3 times, I think. And this one's definitely the best. I love that it's got its foot on a large dirt mound. Big like showpiece there. I like its face. It reminds me of the Hatbox Ghost, except that its eyes are kind of like stitched over. It's strange. And underneath its foot, you might notice that it looks like there are 2 LED eyes. This might be some kind of skull that'll like pop up and it'll like push up its knee. Might be a good jump scare. Kind of reminds me of Cotton Candy Dan. But to his right, you can see a reskin of the clown stack. As you can see, this is what the clown stack looked like, and then this is the new zombie stack. And I think that the zombie stack kind of makes no sense in concept. There's not short, tiny zombies like that, and they wouldn't be stacked on top of each other. But I'll give them props where it's due, because it does look very good. The detail is amazing, and it looks better than the clown stack. It's just conceptually confusing and bizarre. You know, you'll win some and you lose some when you're coming up with weird ideas. I would like to get them for videos though, because they would be really funny. To his left, you can see this barber character. Seems like a kind of old Western theme. He's, you know, it's kind of yeet. You know, it's kind of neat. I don't have much to say about it, but this one I have a lot to say about, because this is a super cool servo witch. Servo motors add very smooth and lifelike movements to characters, and it's said that this one has servo arms, which hasn't been done before except in one animatronic. This scarecrow guy from Costco. Everybody's been putting servos in the head and face, but they're missing out on the opportunity of super smooth arm movements, and this is what this witch is gonna have, and I honestly cannot wait. So here in this image, there are 2 big notable characters. One is my absolute favorite. It's this skeleton. I'm absolutely foaming at the mouth, scratching at the walls. I'm trying to get the skeleton, because although right now I might seem like a total skeleton glazer, it's like, wow, you're really into basic skeletons. This doesn't look interesting at all. That's because this one is very special. It's actually programmable. You connect it to your Bluetooth and you can change what it says and what it does. This is something that I've wanted for so long, and since it's a basic skeleton, you can just change it and dress it up however you want, make it into any character. It's functionally perfect. I just want to see all the things that you can do, or that it can do, so that I could kind of figure out a good character for it. This is the only animatronic that I think it would be worth getting multiple of, because you can make multiple different characters that say and do different things. The one to its left is this Plague Doctor Crow Raven humanoid creature. It's holding a lantern and a staff. I believe it might be a reskin of the Plague Doctor from last year, since it has a similar stance, and that one had a staff and a lantern as well. But this one appears to have mouth movement, and it seems very inspired by Beastcraft's version of this that they showed at Transworld. This isn't the first time that Home Depot has totally taken a concept from Beastcraft. The first one was the Levitating Reaper, and you can tell because it goes all the way down to the wood structure of its staff. It's like 1-to-1. I appreciate that this one is pretty different from the Beastcraft one, so I don't feel as bad buying it. But to be fair, this is for a different market. People who are going to buy this are not going to buy the one that's worth thousands of dollars from Beastcraft. craft. They're not exactly interchangeable, although they carry the same concept. So since the crazy success of the 12-foot skeleton, they've released accessories for him and other characters to go along with it. One of them last year was Skelly's dog, and this year they have a giant cat to go with them. This cat looks very nice. I like its red glowing eyes and its like hunched over position. I wonder if it's posable. Like, I bet you can change its position. There's this thing, the tricycle girl. Kind of lame. It's a little budget option. This is my third favorite. It's the skeleton, a half-bodied skeleton on a track. This is another one that is pretty obviously inspired by something from the pro industry. Scare Factory has been making these characters that go on tracks, like crawling towards you, for a little while now. And Home Depot saw that, go like, I want to make one of those for retail, make it on a shoestring budget, and sell it to the masses. And I absolutely love this idea. This is the first animatronic we've ever seen on a track, at least in retail. And it's said that it's supposed to crawl towards you. It looks very large, especially next to the barber over there. Hi, barber! And I'm really excited to see its animation, because I can't imagine it's going to be that fast. Things with these new confusing mechs have always interested me, and how they're going to pull it off without pneumatic cylinders like the pro animatronics use. They have to convert it into being electric and being able to just plug in and play. Right here, this is a big fan favorite. It's such a cool, weird, bizarre idea. It's not Halloween-y, it's just this big scary character. So I guess anything that's scary can be Halloween-y. It's this ogre troll character holding a big club. It's obviously a reskin of Carnival Carl, so you can imagine what it does. If you watch the animation of Carnival Carl here, that is what this guy does. I love its exposed chest and belly. That's some extra molded and painted pieces on him. And he just looks great, you know, other than the eyes being all derpy and looking everywhere. You might be able to fix that, but honestly, I think it's funny, so it's okay. On a character like this, I give it a pass because he's supposed to look all like big, dumb, and dopey. And next to him, you can see two very cool characters. This one holding a cane that has a pumpkin face and a very tall top hat. It looks to be a budget item. I imagine he'd be $100 or so. Because unless in the video he's doing something crazy, he doesn't look that crazy. He's just a cool, bizarre design. And I know a lot of people that are very interested in him. But one that I'm very interested in is this snowman. It's this big evil snowman with sharp fingers, sharp teeth, and I love it. Just the inclusion of a Halloween sneaking into every other holiday. There's no escaping it. The wonderfulness of Halloween must be felt by all. We don't know what it does yet. We'll see videos later. But I bet that the inside of its face glows, and I bet that its arms move just based on the position of them. Here we can see 3 Christmas items. You know, on the topic of Christmas, we also get to see some of their new Christmas stuff. One is this new version of the Grinch animatronic. It seems like its head, body, and hands are made of plastic this time, which creates much better looking molds. This is Santa Claus, which has the eyelid style of things that blink, which makes me very excited because that would be a servo-controlled Santa Claus. Those things always look very advanced and super realistic, so this may just be the best Santa Claus that we've gotten in retail. And next to him, this short stack over here, this is Olaf. Finally, a character of this. Usually we've only gotten inflatables and stuff of him, but now there's a standalone animatronic of Olaf. I'm not huge on like Disney movies, but I appreciate the effort. And over here, way behind the ogre guy, past some trees, you can see Santa, his giant reindeer, in this brand new sleigh that they're releasing. It's a ginormous sleigh, and I think that you can just stand up in it like a photo op, which I think is really cool. I love that photo ops are being used in retail because that's like almost strictly a business thing. Home Depot, as of recently, has been the only company I've seen that have been taking so many notes from the pro industry. Like, I imagine that they're going to Transworld. They got their whole huge notepad writing everything down. And even though it results in some copied concepts and designs, it is so cool seeing them actually push for things like this, things on tracks, things that can be programmed by you. Photo ops, all the, like, Home Depot, sponsor me. Like, I'll hate on props when they deserve to be hated on. You've seen me be cynical in my reviews plenty of times. And we haven't seen all the stuff that these guys do yet. So maybe there's things to complain about. So far, it is looking fantastic, and there are at least 3 items that I really, really want. And that is the 15-foot scarecrow, the programmable skeleton, and the, like, zombie on a track. I think that those 3 are my top ones. I absolutely need them. And thank you, Home Depot, for creating these crazy and weird designs, going really out there, taking risks and taking notes from the pro industry, and keeping things affordable too. I haven't even mentioned that. Unlike a place like Spirit Halloween, they will price things at a price that seems reasonable. Like Carnival Carl, this thing is like 8 feet or so tall. It was $200. The triple clown stack, also $200. The Soul Slasher, $100. I know that Home Depot is is changing their management or whatever when it comes to who's picking out all the Halloween stuff next year. But please keep things affordable and please keep doing weird stuff. Anyways, that was this whole Home Depot debacle. There will probably be more images that come out like as I upload the video, but I will see you next time. Bye bye.